Hi guys, it's Mishel, DeceptionBytes, and today is the 29th of July. It is 3:31 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I realize that I am behind. I need to cover the 27th and the 28th. I have not gone out to see if anything has been posted yet for today from Q, but I will do that post haste as soon as I finish catching us up here. Now, the reason I'm behind is I met with a senior operative of Able Danger, and if you don't know what that is, then you should look it up because it's very important to this movement and probably more important than anyone else realizes. And I got so much information from this person that literally I felt like I was a snake that had just swallowed something that was much bigger than me, and I had this great big bulge in my stomach, and I needed to take time to digest what I had just consumed. So I needed that time to just kind of refocus and think about just a lot of things and how I looked at a lot of things. So I think this is going to be a really good program. A good video rather, and I'll get started. So because we've got a lot to cover, I may need to split it into two videos, and I may need to make another video if Q has posted today, but if Q has not posted today, I'm going to do a Q related news because there's so much. It's really hard to keep up with right now because everything is moving so quickly. And those who are saying that nothing has happened, I don't know what they're smoking. But anyway, let's get started. I do apologize that we're behind, but I'm hoping that I'll make up for it. So let's get started with the 27th. And Q starts by saying Twitter, near 20% slide. Again, when Q asks a question, he's never really answering or really asking a question. He's telling us that Twitter's near 20% slide. Facebook near 20% slide. Again, he's telling us. All because of missed earnings? No, of course not. What does the street know? Insiders dumping? DC moves slow. At Jack. Mark Zuckerberg, your hands are dirty. Q. Now, mainstream media, as you know, is saying that Facebook stock took a dive because it missed its earnings estimate. But think about it. I don't know how many of you invest in the stock market, but companies miss their earning estimates all the time. They don't lose a fifth of their value. They don't lose a fifth of their total stock value. So what's the real story? Because when I saw that, and I saw that they were saying that, well, it took a dive because it missed its earnings estimate. I was thinking, so? Well, people don't dump their stocks. If you've got a lot of stock that you have faith in and that has been performing well and it has a bad quarter, you don't just dump your stock. People are usually in their stock for the long haul. There are day traders and so forth, and the people that buy and sell constantly stock, but for the most part, people that have a great deal of stock hold it for the long term. So that doesn't make sense to me. Now, how can you explain that? Because the man on the street, so to speak, or the woman on the street, they don't know. They don't know that anything that's going on with Facebook or that they should dump the stock. They didn't know that the earnings were going to miss their estimate. They didn't know any of that. So why did, 1 in every 5 people that has Facebook stock dump it? 1 in 5. 1 in 5. That doesn't make sense at all. So that means that the people that dumped it knew something. They knew something was coming down, right? Doesn't that make sense? And I think that you guys that play in the stock market or are seriously investing in the stock market will know that what I'm saying is true. I'm not an expert on all that. No, I'm not claiming to be, but it doesn't make sense. There's companies that I've got a little bit of stock in and they miss their earnings estimate, but I don't dump my stock because I know that over the long haul, I believe in their product. I believe in what they're selling. And so I know that, over the long haul, it'll all come out in the wash. Stocks go down, stocks go up. But 1 in 5, no, something's up with that. So there's insider trading going on. And that is what Q is alluding to. He's saying, what does the street know? They don't know anything. It's the insiders that have the knowledge. It's people inside the company that know what's going on, And so anyway, the average man on the street would not know enough to dump this. So this is being caused by insiders that know something. So, Twitter is 20% slide, Facebook near 20% slide, and, I shouldn't have put Twitter is probably next because they've already taken a dive. So, Jack's hands are as dirty as Mark Zuckerberg's, according to Q. And so far, Q has been pretty trustworthy, wouldn't you say? I would. So I'm going to go with Q and assume that Jack and Mark Zuckerberg rather, their hands are dirty. Maybe even have blood on their hands. Who knows? We don't know. I think we're gonna all be shocked when everything comes out, and not everything will come out, but I think enough will come out that we'll have the big picture, and probably soon enough. Well, it's never soon enough for some, but you know what I mean. Now, the next post, July 27th, it's at 10:47 Eastern Time. He shows us a picture that we've seen many times before. And we know it's taken in London because this is the London Eye, known as the London Eye, big Ferris wheel. And there's two people crossing the street right here. Well, let me just go ahead and tell you, you probably already know, that is Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. Now, below it, Q says, when does a bird sing? Q. Now, I don't know, Q has asked this so many times, and every time you get all these weird answers. No, a bird sings when it's caged. It's an old, I guess, a euphemism or whatever that, the caged bird sings. Well, the canary's about to sing. Like, that means you're in jail or you're in a predicament and you're going to have to come clean. That's what that means. When does a bird sing? When it's caged, and necessarily caged with iron bars. But, Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, they're caged, so to speak. They're in a corner. They can't get out because, after all, we have it all, says Q. So, yeah. Now, let's go on. So that is a blow up of, and it's blurry, yes, granted, it's blurry, but you can tell who it is. And Q is telling us who it is. So, them crossing the street rather, is this. And here she is opening the door to somewhere. And Q has posted this probably to scare the caca out of her, because he's saying, keep your promise. This is not a game, Q. Now, obviously, he couldn't be saying that to us, could he? Couldn't be telling us, keep your promise. We haven't made any promise to Q. So he's speaking to someone else. Well, wouldn't it make sense that he's speaking to the person in the picture? Maybe both of them. I don't know. I think he is singling out Lisa Page, but I don't know. And he's saying, keep your promise. This is not a game, Q. Now, this is what I think Q is saying. This is a warning. She's probably starting to back down a little on some of her promises. maybe having second thoughts. Do I really want to spill this? And Q's warning her that, look, chick, we have the goods on you. So you better decide whether you're going to keep cooperating or stop cooperating. Because if you stop cooperating, well, we've got the goods. So that's exactly what I think that is. Now, I missed the first, no, I did not. No, I didn't miss the first part of it. Okay, so the alliance, so to speak, have the goods, and they'll let the public know if she fails to cooperate. That's exactly what I think this is saying. If you have any other ideas, put it in the comments below, because I do read those. But please, no more birds singing comments like a bird sings when it's in the dark, a bird sings when the sun comes up, a bird sings when you talk to it, a bird okay, it's enough. Like, enough with the bird comments. All right, now let's go up to the next one, and it is the same picture. And he's, now, why did I post it twice? I could have. Well, I don't know how that happened. Oh no, okay, we've already, sorry. It's one of those, and okay, underneath here, Q says, yes, it is the same picture. And underneath, Q is referring to this post down here. And he's saying, keep your promise. This is not a game. So, or is that the same as one down here? He did, I don't know. I don't know. Do I have a, here. There you go. I messed up. All right. So let's go back up to the next thing that Q posts. And it's this. Let me see here. Okay, it's very small. Q posts a one that this was posted a long time ago. I can't remember the date, but I think it's here. Very little. It was on February. February, possibly a 1 and a maybe 14, maybe 16, maybe 23. I don't know. It's very small and it's very blurry. But Q posts these posts that he had posted earlier in the year. And it says, warning UK, London, possible car attack, _24, strike _package, _ something, something. Warning UK, okay, we've seen this before, X-ray, chatter, Q Delta. And then below, it's this picture, it's the same street, it's just the I is a little bit over here. And Q is saying, UK, stay alert, Q. Now, Q is asking us, was this a warning to the UK? Decipher regarding last. Redacted FISA. Now, this I'm a little bit curious about. I'm not going to lie to you what he's talking about here, but this is what I think is being said. Okay, Lisa was captured on camera with Peter Strzok, possibly taking part in Operation Crossfire Hurricane. And if you remember, Operation Crossfire Hurricane was the DC's undercover operation to bring down Trump. Okay, now the Hillary email investigation ends 7/6/16. And I got this from the Great Awakening board, so I just wanted to be honest about where I've found this. Days after they closed their investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of private email server, agents began scrutinizing the campaign of her Republican rival. The FBI named their new operation against Trump Crossfire Hurricane, which is from the Rolling Stones song Jumping Jack Flash. The song Jumping Jack Flash appears on the 40 Licks album as track number 5. Track number 6 on the 40 Licks album is You Can't Always Get What You Want. On 7/22/16, Trump caused an uproar using "you can't always get what you want" to play at the Republican National Convention. He knew everything the whole time. Now, how cool is that? And see, the warning to the UK was probably a warning to operatives in the UK. Now, on what side? I would say on a good side, because why would he warn the black hats, right? Doesn't make sense to me. So possibly this was a warning, and it was meant to be picked up by Lisa Page and Peter Strzok as a warning that, look, guys, we know where you are, we know what you're doing. Now, this somehow ties into the redacted FISA, and I don't know. There's probably names, well, there are names on that FISA that have been redacted because it's evidence for the grand jury, and there are names that have been redacted that, I don't know, I really hope at some point we're going to get to see this, but I don't know. But let's go on. All right, now the next post, Q is drawing attention to his own post, and he's saying, Peter Strzok, round 2, lead investigator, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Russia, which, you know, Strzok, that's Peter Strzok, round 2. And he was the lead investigator for the Hillary Rodham Clinton and Russia. He was the chief of the FBI's counter-espionage section and number 2 in the FBI's counterintelligence division. He led the team of investigators in the Clinton classified email probe and led the FBI investigation into alleged Russian interference in the election. He was involved in the controversial anti-Trump, quote, Steele dossier, used in part to obtain multiple secret wiretaps. He was the one who interviewed Trump advisor, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, who pled guilty to lying to the FBI, only to later learn that agents reportedly didn't think he'd lied. And Strzok was the top FBI agent appointed to work on the team of special counsel Robert Mueller to investigate alleged Trump-Russia collusion. So my question is, when Q wrote that originally, were they in the UK getting intel or retrieving the dossier? I don't know. I mean, that picture, was that taken at that time? Were they in the UK because of the dossier or retrieving intel from the UK, which we already know was involved in this? We already know. Yeah, the UK their hands are dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. So, let's go on. Now, so Q is making reference to his own post here again. And below it, he has this picture. Now, I don't know where this picture was taken. It looks like it's been taken outside because of the cement here. There looks to be a little piece of paper here and a lid from a cup. And up here, I don't know, it looks like cans to me, but I don't know. But the interesting thing is right here is the QAnon sticker. Why is he pointing that out? I don't know. I mean, we could look at this as, oh, he's just, showing us that QAnon gets around, and this is maybe in the UK and there's a QAnon sticker. I don't think so, because when he's done it in the past, I can't remember where it was, but he pointed out in some European country that someone had written QAnon, and he brought that to our attention and we knew where it was. So why wouldn't he say, well, this was taken in wherever? Unless he means for us to just assume it was taken in the UK. But I believe, since he's referencing it, he's attaching it to this post, that it's related. How could it not be? Right? I mean, if you're going to tell somebody, you don't attach something unrelated to it. I don't. If I, in business situations, if I'm sending communication to someone that I want to get through, I don't attach other documents that have nothing to do with the main topic, right? Doesn't that make sense? So I don't think Q would. I think Q is probably a whole lot more intelligent than me, so I don't think he would do it either. So I think that this is related somehow. I just don't know how. And it could also be that these numbers, remember how we were talking about that computer program that you can put in pictures, and if you have the keyword, you can get a message out. Now, I did download that, but I have not had time to get it all set up because I do want to go through some of these photographs and see if there are any other messages there, because my guess is that there is. But I've been wrong before. No, really, I have. I know you're saying, no way, but yeah, I have. Okay. Now, what did I write down here? Okay, so wondering if UK false flag attack averted was the deep state warning to May to keep quiet regarding MI6 Five Eye involvement in Crossfire Hurricane Ops with Strzok and Page. Believe this is spelled out in redacted portion of the FISA warrant Inspector General investigation. Redactions necessary due to ongoing investigation. Now, I got this from somebody's either Facebook or something, and I want to be able to give them credit, and I'm thinking it may be somebody else that I used up here, and I did use their name, so I will give them their proper credit because I think they're right on here. It said, wondering if the UK false flag attack averted was a deep state warning to May to keep quiet regarding. I don't know if it could go both ways, really. It could be a warning. The false flag attack was averted. I don't know. Like, you can, some of this stuff you can look at both ways. It could have been either side. So I don't know. Like down here, I said, perhaps, this was a warning to someone that, look, we've got you in our sights, the strike package. So, I don't know. Anyway, let's continue. I wish I had the answers to everything to give you. I don't. And there are lots of us that are doing this, and we all get different pieces of the puzzle. And I don't claim to have all the answers, and I don't think anybody else claims. I don't know because I don't listen to others. I just don't have time to do this research and all my work and listen to others as well. I'm sorry. I wish I did, but I just don't. Now, Q made this next post, and it said, okay, here we go. Wait. Let me go up here. This is a bigger version of this. So let's go up here. And this was July 27th at 11:32 Eastern Time. And this big one is that. So we'll go down and read the big one. And I put here as a note to myself, this is just a bigger version of what is below. These are the answers given by Strzok during his interview with the House Intel Committee. Okay, so Peter Strzok. Now, when it's saying Peter Strzok, that's him talking. Okay, Peter Strzok. Texts were taken out of context. Peter Strzok, while emotional over the election, I conduct myself with utmost integrity, without bias, while undertaking any such investigation, especially a high-profile case against the President of the United States. Peter Strzok, in hindsight, it was a bad idea to openly discuss my feelings, but in no way did those feelings impact my ability to conduct a fair, proper investigation. We followed where the facts took us. Peter Strzok, I decline to answer that question on advice from counsel. When you state where facts led us, what facts are you referring to? To date, there have been zero evidence of any such collusion or connections with the Trump campaign in Russia. In fact, the only facts discovered thus far have been between the Clinton camp and Russia and other foreign groups. Now, I'm not sure who that is that's speaking, but here's Peter Strzok's answer to that. On advice of counsel, I decline to answer that question. Peter Strzok, because of ongoing investigation, such answers may violate the security of such investigations. Mr. Strzok, I believe nobody here is buying what you are selling. I believe there is a serious offense or effort on the part of the people more senior than you to remove Mr. Trump from office out of fear of what this administration may uncover. I believe you are being dishonest in your answers and frankly shocked you agreed to come here today. I believe everyone on this panel, minus those from the other side of the aisle, knew exactly what your answers would be, and if you think we're going to sit here and accept these answers, you would be foolish. We are also following the facts, and once we uncover more, which we will act accordingly. I'm glad you retained counsel. You'll need one, and hopefully they are very good. Yeah, Q. So this was provided to us, and this is not anything that we could not have found for ourselves, but I think that instead of listening to the whole thing, Q has just pulled out a few interesting things for us to read, and I do find them interesting. Interesting, very interesting. So let's go on. Okay, now here we're getting to some juicy stuff now. All right, this is still July 27th, and this is 11:33:37. Wow, he's just posting up a storm here, because this one was 11:32. Posting on July 27th. It was a slow night. Okay, so Gina Haspel. Now, you remember who she is? She is the new head of the CIA. And, okay, now, he's saying Gina Haspel. The CIA London station is the main center of the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency in the UK. Station chief, chain of COS, chief of station. Sorry, I had to think about what that acronym meant for a second. Okay, agencies and I think this is really cool right here. See how Q spelled that? He spelled it, instead of ER, he spelled it RE, because both Britain and Canada spell center with RE instead of ER. Anyway, I'm just pointing that out. Why? I don't know. Probably because, English fascinates me. So, Gina Haspel. The CIA London station is the main center of the U.S. intelligence agency in the UK. Station chief, COS, unnamed woman, C2, 2009. Now, this is going to make sense in a minute. So, those ordered to testify include the former CIA chief, Porter J. Gross. Another is a woman who is not publicly named, who heads the agency's London station. She previously worked as the chief of staff for the head of the CIA's clandestine branch, Jose Rodriguez, who is the focus of the investigation. So let's go down to this and see if this is going to make this make sense, okay? Well, first, let me show you something. Well, no, let's go here first. No, I don't know. I just, back and forth, I don't know. All right. Top CIA officials appear before jury over destruction of Al-Qaeda tapes. 92 videotapes may have been illegally destroyed. London station chief included in inquiry. So, hang on here. I'm not going to read all this, but I want you to get the gist of what this is about. Senior Central Intelligence Agency's officials, including the London station chief, have been brought before a grand jury in Virginia investigating the potentially illegal destruction of 92 videotapes recording the torture and interrogation of Al-Qaeda detainees. Okay, so these tapes that were illegally destroyed, potentially illegally destroyed, there was 92 of them, and they were recording the torture and interrogation of Al-Qaeda detainees. A special prosecutor, John Durham, has called the CIA officials as part of an 18-month-long criminal probe into the destruction of evidence of the agency's interrogators using waterboarding and other forms of torture against I can never pronounce this. Anyway, these words right here, okay, at Nashiri, who are described by the Americans as high-value detainees now held at Guantanamo Bay. Those ordered to testify included the former CIA chief, Porter Gross. Another is a woman who is not publicly named, who heads the agency's London station. She previously worked as the chief of staff for the head of the CIA's clandestine branch, Jose Rodriguez, who is the focus of the investigation. So it was Jose Rodriguez who was the focus of the investigation, but this other woman, who's not publicly named, headed the agency's London station. But this was in her previous job. But she was unnamed because while she was in this job, she was in a clandestine branch. I am assuming that that is why she is unnamed, even though that by the time this happened, she was then the chief of the London station. Making sense? So okay, wait, let me just read another little bit here. The New York Times reports that former CIA officers have identified the woman as having helped carry out Rodriguez's order to destroy the tapes, which had been kept in a safe in the agency station in Thailand, where the torture and interrogations were carried out. Rodriguez is reported to have been concerned that agents might have been identified and endangered if the tapes leaked. But the CIA, But the CIA will also have been concerned that that's not good English, that some of its agents may have been open to prosecution under domestic and international laws against torture, besides the enormous damage to its already battered reputation if videos were made public of the extended torture and brutal techniques used against the captives. The impact is likely to have been much greater, but the outcry caused by the pictures of abuse by U.S. soldiers at Baghdad's Abu Ghraib prison. So the impact would have been greater than that, and the impact of that was like humongous. So this is a big deal, but who was that woman? Who was that masked woman, that unnamed woman? Well, we're going to find out. So let's go back. All right. So now let's look at this. And this is, okay, this is the station chiefs from the beginning all the way down through. And you'll see that the unnamed woman isn't even listed here. It just says unnamed woman, and it says circa C to 2009. So we don't even know when she began. We only know that she ended in 2009, but she is the unnamed woman. So, who is this unnamed woman? Well, now we're going to find that out. Q is telling us that Gina Haspel is the unnamed woman. In 2009, she appeared before the grand jury over destruction of 92 videotape recordings, which were recording the torture and interrogation of Al-Qaeda detainees. Now, what I don't know is Is she innocent of that? I mean, she obviously had to do her duty. If she was asked by her superior to destroy these tapes, then she had to destroy the tapes, right? So I don't necessarily know if there's any wrongdoing as far as she's concerned. I don't know. But Q has not told us that, and I think he would not hire her as the head of the CIA if she was involved in that. So I don't know there. That requires further investigation. Now we're to something really interesting. This is where the plot thickens. All right. July 27th. Now what's this a picture of? Do you remember a little while back when the Air Force One, we were surmising that a missile had been aimed at Air Force One to take it out. Air Force One was diverted, the missile was destroyed, and mainstream media never picked it up because apparently an attempt on the president's life is not worth mentioning on mainstream media. Apparently, CNN doesn't care. Oh, an attempt on the president's life. Oh well. Now, on to the next Stormy Daniels. Whatever. Let's see who is not wearing underwear when they get out of the car. Britney Spears wearing underwear. That's or not, and that's the importance that they feel is the important things too. Like, how many Stormy Daniels stories has there been, and not even one mention of an attempted assassination of our president? Hello. Yeah. Now, so he says here, Q says, unauthorized missile fired. Unauthorized emergency incoming missile threat activated Hawaii. POTUS Air Force One. POTUS reroutes. Coincidence? No MSM investigations? Biggest threat to the American people? And no investigation. Q. So not only was there attempt on the president's life because that missile was headed to take out Air Force One on its way back from, I believe, Asia. I believe that was back from his Asia trip, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And so he was rerouted because somebody alerted POTUS. Who do you think that was? I know. It was Able Danger. It was someone within that organization. That is the rumor, and I would believe it because they're much more important to this than people realize. So, and the missile was destroyed midair. So, let's take a look at something else. It's going to blow your mind, and I can guarantee you haven't seen this. Sorry. Now, let me see. I know you haven't seen this. Remember, it came off a little island, the missile, and they said, well, we don't have any missiles there. We don't have any missiles there. It's not even capable of having missiles there. Well, let's take a look. There's no real sound to this, so you just have to watch. Well, there is a little sound.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Well, let's show it to you. Weather camera snapped the photo on Kitsap Peninsula Sunday morning. There on the left of your screen, you can see there's a flash in the sky. The photographer saw the photo, zoomed in on the mysterious object at the front of it. Some say it appears to be some sort of missile launched near the naval base on Whidbey Island. Well, the Navy says there is no missile capabilities on base, and the object did not come from the base. Meteor experts say it wasn't a meteor, and other organizations like NOAA say they don't know what it is either. So it remains a mystery. More on the object.
Given chain of command process to launch, what does this tell you? Unauthorized missile fired. Unauthorized emergency incoming missile threat activated Hawaii. POTUS, Air Force One. POTUS, reroutes. Coincidence? No. Mainstream media investigations. Biggest threat to the American people? Q.
Network flight. Go flight.
We're now beginning to pressurize the tanks, pressurize all of the...
Okay, now, where did I get this? Because you can see it's recently uploaded. It's only had 1,240 views. I was alerted to this by the senior operative that I spoke to. And so there you go. Pretty interesting. Interesting's not the word. It's absolutely alarming that we came that close to losing the president. That close. We came, and the missile that we weren't sure if there was really a missile that was fired at Hawaii or if it was just something, you know, there was lots of conjecture. Well, there was a missile fired at Hawaii and it was intercepted. So both times, both missiles were, one was meant to do damage to Hawaii and start World War III, and the other one was meant to take out our president. Yeah, that's how close we came to losing our president, to losing Hawaii, to losing all the people, everything on Hawaii. And no mainstream media investigations? Does this seem odd to you? Because it seems incredibly odd to me. It seems incredibly odd to me. So let's continue. And Q is telling us what happened, because this anon is saying, where did the missiles go? Blown up in the sky? And Q says F-16s intercept Q. They were intercepted by F-16s. So Q is telling us. So now we now know that those two missiles, they were real. They were intercepted because of intelligence given to them. Now, this is this is like probably the most jaw-dropping stuff that you can't make this up. I can't believe we almost lost the President of the United States, was almost assassinated. And what would have happened then? Well, that probably would have started a war too. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe, you know, the hill dog would have taken over and, oh my gosh. Like that's my nightmare. When I have nightmares at night, I think Hillary's president, and I toss and I turn and I go, Hillary's president, and then I wake up and then I go, oh, she's not president. She's not. Oh, it's a good day. It's a very, very good day. I speak the truth. All right, let's go on to the next one. And this is July 27th as well. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish July 27th and I'm going to make the 28th into a different video so that these don't extend into giant videos that nobody wants to listen to because they're like hours long. All right, so here he says, who has the authority to launch a missile? And that's from an anon. So Q is quoting this anon because he's saying, who has the authority to launch a missile? And I was wondering that too. Like, how does a missile just get launched? Who has that authority? Q said unauthorized. So, ... Now Q responds to this anon and says, given the chain of command process to launch, what does this tell you? classified removal wash minutes after. Q. So, Q's already informed us in January that the unauthorized missile triggered the DEFCON warning. This was a false flag event, and it was meant to start a war. That's what it was meant to do, and blame it on North Korea. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to nuke Hawaii and blame it on North Korea. However, the missile was intercepted midair. Uh-oh. The authorization needed for something of this nature to take place shows that it came from an embedded deep state operative, right? So the false flag, this was going to be a false flag, to blame North Korea. False flag because it would have been us nuking us in order to blame North Korea to start a war, right? So they wanted to do this false flag to blame North Korea, but it was intercepted with specialized F-16 weapons package. They cleared the classified data immediately after the missile was launched to cover the trail. So the question is, just who was in the chain of command that ordered or authorized that missile launch? That question hasn't been answered for us yet. But I'd sure like to know, wouldn't you? I think we are going to know. Before it's all said and done, I think we are going to know. And I believe that the days of Hillary are numbered. I mean, the days of her walking around free are numbered. I personally believe that. Now, let's go up to the next one. And this is July 27th, and it's at 12:25 Eastern Standard Time. And Q is making reference to his own post here, and he's saying, given the chain of command purpose to launch, what does this tell you? Class removal, classification or classified removal, classified information removal, I don't know. Wash minutes later, like they washed it minutes later, Q. Now, Q is saying there's a specific reason for this reminder. Everything stated has a purpose. Q. So Q is reminding us of this whole missile thing for a purpose, because everything has a purpose. He doesn't just, draw our attention back to something that he said 2 months ago just for nothing. Because remember, the future proves the past. So reason for reminder, future proves the past. Is someone going to be prosecuted for this? Has someone already been indicted and it's going to come out in the news cycle? I would say it's maybe both. I think it is going to come out, but there's a reason he's bringing it up now, specifically now. Okay, so let's go on. And this is the 27th as well, the next one at 12:49 Eastern Time, and Q says, this is an old Q post from May 10th, and he's saying Facebook is listening to you 24/7, 365 days of the year, literally. F9 algorithm. Are they recording safe housing, metadata collection, Building 8, DARPA, China, 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 Q. Now, Q told us this, back in May, and I remember that because I was not shocked, and I'll tell you why. Because I knew Facebook was listening to me, and I'll tell you how I knew. Because I would mention something that not on the phone, not type it in anywhere, but just mention something odd in conversation. And all of a sudden, I get advertising. For example, when I was joking about adult diapers, I got adult diaper ads in my newsfeed on Facebook. So I knew something was up because I thought, oh, come on. And I tried it a few times. They're listening. They're listening to us. And you know what? you don't even have to have a Facebook account, because Facebook is on all the Android phones. I don't know with the Apple phones, I don't know, but it's on. It's there on, and I don't think that there's a way to erase it. But I could be wrong, so please correct me in the comments below if I am, because I do want the correct information to go out. Now, so Q is drawing our attention to this, and he's saying, who recently pulled out of Facebook? Artificial support. What events recently occurred in China regarding Facebook? Why did China suddenly reverse course? The more you know, Q. So let's take a look. Now, this is from, okay, this is where the one that I said I wasn't sure where it came from. This is where it came from. Lisa May Crowley. Her comment on this is good. Looks like Facebook's plan for establishing a subsidiary in China are dead. Regina Dugan, who was the head of Building 8, previously with Google and director of DARPA, quit last November. China knows Facebook facing criminal charges and wants out to maintain a good relationship with Donald Trump. Now, that makes the most sense to me of any. And I can't decode that any better than that. That's great. So let's take a look at what recently occurred in China here. We'll just have a little look-see. China said to quickly withdraw approval for new Facebook venture. Now, we don't need to read all through that, because all we need to know is that. But Facebook's main platform has been blocked in China for almost a decade, and it has long sought to establish a foothold there. So, but China's pulled out now. So for Facebook's success in China was brief. Very brief. For several hours, a Chinese government database showed that Facebook had gained approval to open a subsidiary in the eastern province of, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Facebook said it would use the company to set up an innovation hub there. Then the registration disappeared, and references to the subsidiary were partly censored in Chinese media. Now, the approval has been withdrawn, according to a person familiar with the matter who declined to be named because the person was not authorized to speak on the record. While the about face does not definitively end Facebook's chances of establishing the company, it makes success very unlikely, the person says. The decision to take down the approval, the person added, came after a disagreement between officials in Xinjiang, maybe, and the National Internet Regulator, the Cyberspace Administration of China, which was angry that it had not been consulted more closely. I don't believe that that's the reason. A Facebook spokeswoman declined to respond to a request for comment. The Cyberspace Administration of China, the Xinjiang provincial government, and the municipal government in Hangzhou, Xinjiang's provincial capital, did not respond to request for comment. And I probably just mangled those Chinese names, and I apologize if that's the case. The strange incident underscores how much of a challenge it has become for the global spanning social network to get into China, even just to open an innovation center. Well, yeah, they weren't just wanting to open an innovation center, but I do believe that it's because China wants to maintain their relationship, their new, relationship with Donald Trump. I really do. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So let's go on. And here is the next post. He was very, very busy on July 27th. So this is very, very small. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you. There you go. All right. And it's not important, that we see everything. But this says Trump, and it's by The Hill, Trump ducks media, cites bad weather despite clear skies as he leaves for Iowa. Now, this Anon, who posted this, said, POTUS ducks reporters because we are in the storm. So that's what he was referring to. He was referring to the storm. And Q underneath says, a message that nobody but who understands? Well, but us. Those of us who have been following Q. It was meant for us. That was meant for us. That was just a little tip of the hat there to us. We know we're in the storm, right? The storm was coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's here. Oh, it's here. So there you go. Now let's go up to the next one. How many do we have to go until the 28th? I'm just taking a boo here. My gosh, this person was quite prolific on the 27th. So let's come down to the next one. Where were we? We were here. You know what? I'm going to split it here. And I'm going to do a second video because this is getting long. I think I have been recording for around an hour now, and I don't want my videos to be any longer than that because I know that there are people that they're just not marathon listeners. So let me stop here, and I'm going to pick up in the next video, okay? And I will upload that today, I promise. So enjoy the rest of your day. Stay tuned for more videos because I don't think that I'll be having a 2-day hiatus anytime soon. That was a special occasion that I needed to get myself up to snuff on some things. And so we'll leave it there, and I'll see you soon. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.